Today, we're diving deep into one of the most pivotal chapters of a true classic, Great Expectations, to unpack a question that's just as real now as it was back then. What is a fortune really worth? We're about to see how money, identity, and a long-simmering revenge all come crashing together. This is the question that beats at the very heart of the whole story for our guy Pip. He spent his life being told he has great expectations, but he's about to find out that all the money in the world can't buy him the one thing he desperately wants, the truth. All right, let's get into it. We're going to break this down into 4 key moments. First, Pip finally gets his hands on his fortune. Then, we get to see what he actually does with all that power. After that, a visit to a very creepy house leads to a shocking confrontation. And finally, Pip has to face a heartbreaking truth about the woman he loves. Okay, so first up, it's Pip's 21st birthday. This is it. This is the day he's been dreaming of, the moment he thinks everything is finally going to make sense. So just picture it. Pip walks into the office of his guardian, this really intimidating lawyer, Mr. Jaggers. The air is thick with anticipation, right? For years, his entire life has been bankrolled by some mysterious, anonymous benefactor. And Pip is absolutely convinced that today's the day the curtain gets pulled back. But nope. The whole meeting just goes completely sideways and fast. Pip asks the single most important question of his life. Who is doing all this for me? And Jaggers just shuts him down, cold. No answers, no hints, nothing. Instead of the truth, he's just handed a pile of cash, which only makes the mystery even deeper. And we're not talking about a small amount here. He gets £500. And get this, that's not a one-time thing. That's his new annual allowance. To put that in perspective, in the 19th century, that is a fortune. It's more than enough to set him up as an independent gentleman for life. And with those words from Jaggers, it's official. Pip is now a man of means. He's in total control of his financial destiny. But here's the kicker. He's just as clueless about where that money is coming from as he was yesterday. He's got all the wealth in the world, but absolutely zero truth. So, what's the first thing a young guy does when he suddenly comes into a massive fortune? You might think he'd go on a huge spending spree, but what Pip does next, well, it shows us who he really is. His first thought isn't for himself at all. It's actually pretty amazing. The first thing that pops into Pip's head is his best friend, Herbert. Herbert's a great guy, full of ambition, but he's got no money to make his dreams happen. And right here, Pip's first move as a rich man shows you the kind of person he is deep down. And he's so thoughtful about it. He doesn't just throw cash at Herbert. He does it all in secret. He finds an advisor, locates a respectable merchant, and then anonymously buys a partnership in the business for Herbert. He wants his friend to have the pride of thinking he earned it all himself, never knowing that Pip was the one who quietly opened the door for him. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? The best thing his money has brought him so far isn't fancy clothes or high status. It's the feeling of being able to help someone he truly cares about. It's this pure, perfect moment of joy in what's becoming a very messy life. But that warm, fuzzy feeling doesn't last long. The story takes a hard right turn, a really dark turn. An invitation shows up, and it's about to drag Pip away from the simple joy of helping a friend and straight into the cold, twisted heart of a decades-old grudge. Pip gets a message from Estella, the beautiful, cold woman he's completely in love with. He's to bring her back to Satis House. Now this place, it's the crumbling mansion of her adoptive mother, Miss Havisham, a woman who was left at the altar years ago and literally stopped time. The clocks are all stopped, and she still wears her decaying wedding dress. The whole vibe is just unsettling. So every other time Pip's been here, he's seen Miss Havisham just doting on Estella, almost obsessively. But not this time. This time, the mask comes off, and Pip is forced to watch as years of buried resentment just explode into a raw, vicious fight. And it all kicks off with Miss Havisham, her voice just dripping with insecurity. She feels Estella slipping away from her control, and she just lashes out, calling her ungrateful, desperate for some kind of validation. But Estella's reply, it's absolutely devastating. She's ice cold. She basically says, "You're right, I am cold and heartless, because you raised me to be. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. I am your perfect creation." She just holds up a mirror to Miss Havisham, and it is brutal. Miss Havisham just loses it. She turns to Pip, frantic, trying to defend herself. But listen to how she describes her love. Burning love, inseparable from jealousy. That's not love, that's ownership. It's toxic, controlling, and possessive.
And Estella just delivers the final crushing blow. She touches her own heart and asks essentially, when have I ever disobeyed you? When have I ever let a warm feeling in when you taught me to keep them all out? She's been the perfect student, and now all she wants is credit for learning her lessons so well.
And remember, all of this is happening in Satis House. The name comes from Latin and it means enough, as in whoever lives here has everything they need. But the irony is just gut-wrenching, isn't it? It's a house that's defined by what's missing: love, forgiveness, warmth. In Satis House, nothing is ever enough. And so, for our final act, Pip is left reeling, trying to make sense of what he just saw and what it all means for his own life, his own love, and his own great expectations.
That argument just lays it all out for him, and it hits him like a ton of bricks. He finally gets it. Estella isn't just a cold person. She was designed. She has been carefully and deliberately trained since she was a little girl to be an instrument of Miss Havisham's revenge, a heartbreaker. And then this exchange happens, and it is just chilling. Pip is jealous of another suitor, and Estella just admits it, flat out. She asks him, "Do you want me to lie to you too?" He asks if she's trapping the other guy, and she says yes, and lots of others. All of them, except you. It's so twisted, but her warning to Pip is the only honest thing she knows how to give. She's telling him the truth. She can't love him because she doesn't have a heart to give away. And that's where the chapter leaves him, more lost than ever. He has a fortune, but no happiness. He's in love with a woman who was built to be incapable of love. And that central question of his life, who is his benefactor, is still a complete mystery. Which really leaves all of us with one big lingering question, right? Estella says, "I am what you have made me." And it makes you wonder, how much are we all just products of our childhoods? And can we ever really unlearn those first powerful lessons that shape us? What do you think?